All right, kids, if you've been watching this channel for a while now, you know that we're supported by DollarShaveClub.com. Today, this message right here is no different. I'm going to tell you that you should go buy this stuff. And here's why. Remember that scene in Predator where the guy's holding the razor to his face and it just snaps and there's blood going everywhere? You don't need to be that guy. That guy had a cheap razor. To not be that guy, you take your high quality razor handle, you go plow, and you put it in your razor, and then you won't get that on your face. But if you do get irritation just because, you were born with a face that does that, Dollar Shave Club has you covered. This is Dr. Carver's Repair Serum. You squeeze a little bit in your hand, rub it on your face, and it feels so good. And you can add it to your box every month or not. Just keep getting the razors. You can do whatever you want to do. It's about choices. It's up to you. It's your choice. But go to dollarshaveclub.com/Hooniverse to make that choice and make your face a better place. Acura is working hard to produce a lineup of cars that toe the line between elegance and sportiness. The cars can be fun to drive. They're certainly comfortable and luxurious inside, but it seems occasionally they lose their way. Case in point, the Acura ILX. It was basically a Civic that thought it was wearing a fancy suit. That's not a good sell when you're trying to get people into the entry-level luxury market. This is the 2016 ILX, and we've come to Napa to see if it's still just a Civic in a ill-fitting suit, or if it's much more than that. We've come to Napa Valley to test the 2016 Acura ILX, which is a good environment for this car because you're surrounded by the type of people who would buy it. And by that I mean they're in a certain tax bracket and they like nicer things. But these roads appeal to people like me. Napa Valley, if you don't like wine, you should still come here because the roads are pretty awesome. You can actually hustle this thing pretty good through a lot of these Napa-based corners. So as Acura is presenting this car, it seems pretty clear that they know that the last version wasn't exactly spectacular. It was basically a luxury Civic, and the ILX needs to be much more than that to compete in its segment, especially when standard mainstream cars are getting better and better all the time by offering more content. And then the premium and luxury stuff and near premium and near luxury are also getting better all the time. So the ILX can't just sit around and hope for the best, especially when one of the engines they offered in the last car was a 150 horsepower four-cylinder motor. That doesn't cut it. Here, we've just got the 2.4 liter and it's making 201 horsepower. And it's pretty solid. It's got some great VTEC noise to it. It's a standard Honda motor. Honda does make good engines. We're not saddled with the old 5-speed automatic though, like the last generation car had. 5-speed automatic, yeah, can't do that. This is a new 8-speed dual clutch gearbox. You've got paddles on the wheel. You can pop it into a sport mode down here on the stick, and it's a surprisingly good gearbox. They developed this one in-house. If you want to shift it on your own, it snaps off shifts pretty quickly. If you leave it on its own though, it's actually pretty intelligent. It downshifts as you brake for a corner, it holds the gears nice and long. So if you want to have some fun in this car, you can do that. And that's important because Acura has been stressing that they want to get back to, well, they say they've always been there, but some people might say they've lost that loving feeling. Now, from the enthusiast point of view, I do wish that the steering were just a tad heavier. I wish there was just a little bit more weight here. But that's a minor quibble, and the average person who buys this car isn't going to care and will probably actually appreciate the lightness of the steering, especially if you're taking long trips. We're not going to be tackling, the mantle tossed down by BMW or Audi anytime soon in terms of full enthusiast driving experience, but as an overall package, it's up there. It can compete with those cars now. Additionally, it takes the lead when you factor in price. The ILX starts at around $27,000. Fully loaded, you're just touching $35,000, and that's with everything. That's the full A-Spec version. They have an optional trim called A-Spec, which gives you sportier wheels, a rear spoiler, side sills, and this black ebony interior with some suede-like inserts on the seats. So if you go top of the rung, 35 grand out the door, you can't do that in a BMW or an Audi or a Mercedes. Those cars, once you start adding options, the price balloons like crazy. So if you're just shopping purely from a financial point of view, which people in this segment do, the ILX is going to start to look like the winner. So with the 2016 ILX, you might be tempted to call this a mid-cycle refresh, which it is, but it's also so much more than that, because they've got they're sticking with the one motor. We've got the new gearbox. We've got a little bit of a revised front and rear end. Those Acura family staple now, dual LED headlights come standard. You don't have to pay extra for them. I don't love the look of those. Some people love the look of them. They work really nicely, and they certainly set the car apart from the front. It's not my cup of tea, but you know. So Acura has worked hard to get this away from the vibe of, oh, luxury Civic. There's still some of that feeling in the car, but it's massively reduced. And I mean that. You feel like you're in a much more premium vehicle than the prior ILX. It's sporty thanks to the 201 horsepower motor and the 8-speed gearbox, but it's also premium thanks to these suede inserts on the seats, the leather on the steering wheel, the leather on the shift knob. It doesn't feel like a Civic that started shopping at Banana Republic instead of a Gap.